Well, driving home, I discovered that my low beam lights were out. I drove home blinding people because I had high beam light bulbs on. So now I got to change these in the Miata. This is a 2007 MX-5. They didn't make them very easy to get to. They probably made it as difficult as they possibly could. See that back there? Not the close one. This is the high beam, but that grommet back there, that's the low beam. That's the one we got to change, and we got to change both sides. Okay, I'm gonna do this one first. It's a little bit easier because there's a little more room. There's that one back there. That's the low beam. This is the high beam. Easy to get to. First thing we're going to have to do is remove the water bottle to give us a little bit more access. And all you need to do is release this here bolt here and this here bolt here, and then you can kind of move that out of the way and get you some room to maneuver the bulb in. Well, as you know, we're working with metrics. This is going to take a 10 millimeter metric socket to get these off. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off, take these loose. And now you can lift this up, kind of get you some room in there to get to that last grommet back there. You see it? It's way back there out of sight. So we got to take that plug out. Already got the plug removed. Now we got to get this grommet out of the way. Get that grommet by pulling it out. Pulling on the little tabs there. Kind of expose the light. Get that out of your way. And then if you see that little clip device there, I'm going to have to push that little clip down and it'll release the light. So I'm not going to film this. It's going to be kind of hard. So just so you know, it pushes down and locks, and it's like, kind of like a safety pin. These bulbs come with a little clip on that they fit into. And you'll have to remove the old bulb, which is this one, and put in the new one. They recommend that you don't touch the glass on the bulb so you won't get oil and stuff on it. It'll make the bulb's life expectancy a lot less. So I'll take this bulb out and put the new one in. Here's what the bulb connector looks like when the bulb is removed. Gotta put that bulb back in there, and then you can fit it in back into the groove a little bit easier. Just be careful, keep your hands off the bulb lens. Okay, new bulb in. Gotta slide it back in there. It's got the keys, so it can only go one way on each edge. So gotta make sure we get those in there so we can get a good fit. See if we can do this with the camera on. Okay, so I'm off in there, trying to see exactly how this bulb goes in there. It's a little tough. Actually, having the camera might help me a bit. There we go. Now, the tough part is getting this little spring connector back on there and locked into place. And so it goes down. See if I can see it with the camera. Goes down and up. Oh, it looks like I got it. Okay, so you can see how that little spring clip locks in there. Put the bulb in place. And we'll get the grommet back on, and then we'll put the plug back in. This big old grommet is pretty easy. It just kind of slips back on there, slips over this. I'm going to let you see it, but I'm going to need both my hands to probably get it back in place. So you see how it goes? It just goes over the outside of that. Once that grommet's in there, you got to make sure there's two prongs are sticking through the hole. But you got to make sure that you press it in there really good on all sides, sort of seal, and no water will get into your lights. And at this point, you just get that plug on the two plugs, and you are done. So I'm having a little trouble aligning it. I'm going to take the camera off so I can do it with both hands. Getting my washer fluid tank in place. Put this back on here. Make sure that hose is in there. Make sure this hose down here snaps into place right there. And at that point, the one nut goes there and the bolt goes there, and we'll put those back on and we're all done with this side. Run another on this side, then I'll screw the bolt back on the other side, and this side is done. They actually took and made a 5-minute job, like a 30-40 minute job, depending on lighting situations, and it's a little quicker when you're not making a video of this. I've actually seen videos where they talk about replacing the light on the driver's side by coming up through the bottom of the wheel well, and have to jack up the car, take the wheel off, and then move the splash guard underneath the wheel, inside the wheel well, and then you still need a long extension to get inside there. I looked at it for a bit, and I found that this is the easier way that I'm going to show you now. Okay, what I do is I loosen the bolt down there, and I loosen the bolt right there, and that gives you some room. It's going to be really tight, but it's just like the other side. You may not get to see me do it because there's barely any room in there, but it's done just like the other side. You unplug it, take the grommet off, and then you the little clamp, remove that, and then once that's removed, you can pull the bulb out and put it back in the socket, and then reverse the process. These nuts are both 10mm nuts also, so you'll use those to take them off, and then you'll also be able to move this fuse box out of your way. Oh, that's right, in case you didn't know, this was the exterior fuse box that I'm moving out of the way to get to the light. Getting that nut off, it's a little easier. Once I've broken the grip on the nut, it's easier to just screw it off with your thumb and forefinger, getting that nut out of the way. Oops, lucky it didn't fall too far. I'm doing these videos just because I'm not that great of a mechanic, and I use YouTube a lot, and when I can't find something on here and it's something that I'm capable of doing, I try to make a video for it to help out other people. Try to save some money. I forgot, there is one more bolt down there. You see where my finger's moving? For me, I've got the cold air intake on here, right down there through there, and if you From this angle you can see it right there. So I have to get that socket head down there and get that one loose, and then I can pull up this fuse box. As you see, I was able to take my extension off of there, get just my socket down in there, and I think I've gotten it broken loose, and then I'll probably be able to get my fingers down in there and take it off. As you see, got my fingers down in there, working that baby loose. And then once that's off, we should be able to get our fuse box to move out of the way a little bit, so we can move replace the light. Last bolt. First, I'm going to try to get this side out. This is the main input cables right here going into the fuse box. Got a few more on that side. But when I can get this up and move it a little bit, I'll be able to get to that light grommet and plug. It's gonna be tough, so I'm gonna have to put the camera down. It's really tough to get to hand room back there, but I can just barely get my hands in there, and I can get that light bulb changed. I've done it before, so I'm not gonna be able to hold the camera to do this. You just know that you're manipulating your fingers in there, man. And when you put that bulb back in the socket, you place that socket in there and you have to turn it until it gets into place, and then you can put the latch back on and put the grommet in place. Alright, going in. Okay, plug off. We're talking way back there now, not this one. That one back there. Plug off, grommet off. Now to get the little latch for the bulb. Take the little socket off and put the new bulb in. The bad thing about this one, if you notice, the latching little safety pin, it swings out to the exterior of the car, from the exterior car inward to the motor. It would be best if they had this one the other way, to where it unlatched on this side and swung out to the exterior side, but it doesn't. So you're doing all that by feel. The thing about the pin latch, even though you're doing it totally blind, you can do it totally blind. So you push it towards the outside, you push down and you try to push it flat, and once you push down and have it flat, then you pull up and you'll get under that latch. So you can do that totally blind. You just got to feel and just take your time. Also, with putting the bulb in there, you have to spin it until it sets in place, because it's keyed. So you can do that blind also. So now all I got to do is put the grommet on, plug it back in, and we're all done. Bolt the fuse block back down, and everything's done. Okay, there we go. All plugged back in. Here's the high beam. Easy as can be. Low beam that seems to go out all the time because you use it the most. The most difficult as it couldn't be. The best thing about putting that grommet on, it's easy to get on. You can do it blind, but I recommend that you make sure that the two prongs are inside the center hole, and then once you start pressing it in, start pressing on the outside and working your way back towards the motor, and that way it goes on a little bit easier. Alright, okay, everything bolted back down, everything locked down, everything is in place. Boom, high beam, low beam over there, plugged in, everything's working. Over here, bolted down, bolted down, bolted down there in the crack. You can see it right there by the band. High beam, low beam back there, all plugged in, grommet in place. Finished job.